Reading comprehension. Comprehension is an active interaction between the reader and the text. It entails that as the reader reads the text, he or she draws out the main idea and details and interprets or infer meaning. For meaningful reading, it is important to develop reading skills and to equip oneself with strategies necessary for comprehension. The purpose of comprehension practice is to help readers before effective independent reading of a variety of text. There are few steps for comprehension. First is skim. Skim once as rapidly as possible to determine the main idea before you look at the question. Don't worry about words you don't know at this stage. Second is to underline the word. To underline the words that you do not understand to facilitate a complete understanding of the passage. This will enable you to solve the vocabulary questions quicker. Third is to look through questions carefully. Look through questions carefully. You are advised to keep to the order in which the questions appear in the test paper. Read intensively the portion relevant to the question. Fourth is the last and the most important, that is to concentrate. Concentrate on the vocabulary items and puzzle out the meaning of any words you don't know from the context. Most passages require at least 2 reading. First is that before writing the answer, check the questions again to be sure that you have really understood them. Second, you must write complete sentence as answers. And third is that answer must be relevant and to the point. If the question is for 1 mark, give 1 point. If the question is of 2 mark, give at least 2 points unless specified differentiately in the paper. Steps in skimming of the main ideas. First is to read. Read the title of the passage, poem carefully. Determine what clue it gives you as to what the passage or the poem is about. Then watch. Watch for keywords like causes, results, effects, etc. Do not overlook signal words such as those suggestive controversy, example verses, pros and cons, which indicate that the author is planning to present both sides of an argument. Third is concentrate. Concentrate on the main ideas and ignore the details. Now there are a few approaches to comprehension questions. The first is the why question. The why questions. In the why question, you are required to give reason, provide explanation and give evidence for an answer. It is essential therefore to look out the words that cause, effects and purpose in order to arrive the answer. There are few words. First is cause words. Cause words are signal the cause or reason for an event or an action. These include the words like because, due to, as, since, owing to, on account of, in that, result from, for this reason and on the grounds that. Third is the effect word. The effect words are the result of an event or an action, and these words include like consequently, so, as a result, therefore, with the effect of. And third is the purpose word. Purpose words indicate the reason for an event or an action. This include for, so that, so as to, in order that, for, the purpose of, in order to, etc. Third is the inference question. The inference question. In the inference question, you are required to make a deductive or draw a conclusion based on the information given in the passage. Since these are not straightforward questions, it is essential therefore to read between the lines or clues for hidden meaning. This can be done by understanding certain key words or phrases. At times, you can draw an inference only after reading the entire poem or the passage. Third is the rephrasing question. The rephrasing questions. At times you are required to explain a word or a phrase in your own words or substitute a word or a phrase in the passage without alternating its meaning. To do so, it is essential to understand the word or a phrase in its context. So it is essential to read carefully what comes before and after it. And the last one is vocabulary. You can react a passage or a poem. You will come across words that are unfamiliar. However, you don't need to look up the meaning of every new word or expression that you come across. When you have finished reading the passage, try to understand the overall meaning of the passage. Try to get the meaning of unfamiliar word or expression from the context. For this, you need to look for clues in the text itself. Now, reading basically involves decoding the theme and or general idea of the passage, and second is comprehension of the details in relation of the theme. The following steps are useful in attempting a comprehension task. There are 4. One is that read the passage carefully and quickly. Once you have identified the theme of the passage, identify the key phrase and value point and underline them. Make sure to underline. Underline the new words and phrases. This will facilitate locating answer to the vocabulary questions. And read the questions given at the end of the passage and browse through the passage of the answer. And when you're answering the questions precisely, but in complete sentence and preferably in your own words. There are a few points which are to be kept in mind while you are reading a comprehension. They are like, first, read the passage quickly. Read it quickly. To read the passage quickly, you want to get the general idea of the theme. When you do this, do not to be preoccupied with answering particular question. Second is that read again. Read again slowly. Read again slowly and carefully so as to know the details. If you come across a word that you don't know, try to work out its meaning through the context. Third is, after reading the question, read the passage again. Read again. After reading the question, read the passage again. Look at the question and work out mentally the location in the passage where the information required for each answer lies. Do not start writing immediately. The most useful work is done while you made yourself familiar with the passage and the questions. Then is make sure that you understand the question. The fourth is to understand the question. Like you have read the question and then you read the passage, but the most important is when you're reading the question, that should be followed by you. Rephrase the question in simple terms. Very often the students just glance through the question without trying to understand their implication, and consequently they fail to give the complete answer to the question. So it is very necessary to give an intelligent reading. The fifth is to make sure that your write is relevant. Answer to the point and then stop. Refer back to the question and make sure that your answer contains the information that is asked for and nothing more than that. Then you can say that use your own words as far as possible. Use your own words as far as possible. However, it may not be always possible to use completely different words when technical terms are involved or words used in the passage are simple enough. But as far as possible, you know your own words and structure. The purpose of setting comprehension exercise is to find out whether a student understands the passage or not. If you merely copy the exact set of words from the passage, you do not show that you are understanding the passage. It makes the checker confirm that you're not followed the passage. Then is to keep to the fact given in the passage. Keep the fact given in the passage. You read. You may have a lot of information for various sources on the theme of the passage. Your answer must be based on the facts given in the passage unless you are directed to give information which is not given in the passage. Like giving your opinion, arguments, etc. To emphasize once again, the purpose of the comprehension exercise is to show that you understand the given passage and not to show how much you know about the theme from other sources. The 8th point, answering complete sentence unless you told not to do so. Answer in complete sentence. Answer in complete sentence. Sometimes you could present the information in a single word, but you are required to express yourself clearly in good English, that is, in a complete sentence. Then answer the same tense as that of the question. The most important. For example, I say, what does she see? The answer would be he sees. Next, what did he see? He saw. So the answer should be in the same tense in that of the question. The last one is, when you have written your answer, you should always refer back to the question. Refer back to the question. Refer back to the question and check whether your answer is relevant and complete in all respect. If these points which have been said is followed properly, it would be possible for you to score a good marks in reading comprehension.